Hey everybody, hope you're doing well today. In this video, we are going to look at 5 study tips to help you in your studies of elasticities. If you're new to this channel, my name is Brad Cartwright. I teach IB Economics here in Santiago, Chile. On this channel, you will find over 300 videos that cover your entire studies of microeconomics, macroeconomics, international economics, and development economics. If you are an IB student, this channel was made for you. If you are an AP student or an A-level student, you will find all of the information you need in your studies of microeconomics and macroeconomics right here. If you are a university student, welcome to this channel. You will find all of the necessary information you need for your studies at any introductory economics program at a university anywhere in this world. Okay, here we go. Let's take a look at elasticities. I'm going to give you 5 study tips to help you be successful in your studies of elasticities. Okay, the first one, you got to know the vocabulary, and you need to know specific examples for each of the elasticities. So vocabulary, what would that mean? You better be able to define price elasticity of demand, cross elasticity of demand, income elasticity of demand, price elasticity of supply, all of the determinants, and I mean precision, understanding, and usage of those terms. You gotta be able to talk the talk in elasticities in order to get top marks, okay? Secondly, you need to have real life examples available to you for each one of those elasticities, not something you're going to try to think about on a test. Don't get cute, don't get creative, don't try to impress with your new ideas. Just think of examples for each one of those different types of elasticities and use them over and over and over again, okay? So first tip, vocabulary, gotta own it. If you look down in the description box of this video, you will see a link to all of the vocabulary that you need for elasticities, okay? Cool. Tip number 2, okay, the base diagram. Happily in elasticities, there's only one base diagram. It's called the price elasticity of demand. If you look in the description box, there is a link to how to draw the price elasticity of demand diagram. It is also based on another diagram that you will find down in the description box that's called the basic supply and demand diagram. The elasticity diagram is simplified a little bit in that we don't draw the supply curve. We leave that off just to make our analysis a little bit easier. Okay. Also, you are going to need to know how to draw a perfectly inelastic demand curve, a perfectly elastic demand curve, a perfectly inelastic supply curve, and a perfectly elastic supply curve. So make sure you study your graphs. If you need any help, I got links to videos down there that will remind you and help you to understand how to construct those diagrams. Okay. Tip number 3, an event is going to happen. Now listen closely to this point right here. In elasticities, the only people who really care are producers. Think about it. As a demander, you don't walk into a store and think, oh, I wonder what the price elasticity of demand of this is. Now you just go, do I want to buy that or not? Am I willing and able to or not? Okay? Only producers care about the elasticities. Okay? Whether it be the price elasticity of demand, cross elasticity of demand, income elasticity of demand, or price elasticity of supply, only producers care. Okay, so that's super important, and an event is going to happen, and your analysis and evaluation is going to be in the context of what the supplier should do, because ultimately elasticities are about producers maximizing their revenue. That's what they want to do. They want to find the perfect price point for their particular good. They're interested in revenue maximization, okay? And of course, if you do your studies, the unit elastic point on the demand curve is where they will find that for price elasticity of demand. So that's super important that you understand the perspective, because you're going to be given an event that you have to analyze, and the event is always going to have to do something with what producers should do, okay? Cool. Along those lines, in price elasticity of demand, listen to this. In price elasticity of demand, if you are operating in the inelastic portion of the demand curve, The producer wants to increase its price in order to maximize revenue. Inelastic, increase price. Inelastic, increase price. Inelastic, increase price. If in price elasticity demand, the producer is working, or the price they have right now is in the elastic portion of the demand curve, they're going to want to reduce their price, and they will generate more revenue as a result of selling more of their product. That is a really important piece of information, because that event is going to shift something, and you're going to have to understand what the producer wants. What are their motivations? Okay, so that's the producer. The other people that care about elasticities are the governments, because governments want to tax a good that is as inelastic as possible, because the steeper the demand curve for a particular good, the more inelastic it is, and therefore the smaller percentage change in the quantity demanded will be on the product. Okay, so if you don't understand that, check out some videos down below, or check your textbook to understand more about how governments use elasticity. But one of the reasons why you're studying elasticities before you study government intervention is you're going to use information from this unit to help you decide, or help governments help decide what types of markets they should add an indirect tax on. And that's why, because it's pretty inelastic, that is why governments put taxes on goods such as cigarettes, gasoline, alcohol, things that we need. Okay, cool. So an event is going to happen. That was tip number 3. Now, tip number 4. Here's the hard part. You need to know how to analyze the impact of the event. Okay, so of course, we have 4 elasticities, and I'm going to go through them pretty quickly, right? If you need more help, again, check the videos below. There's an entire playlist in there of the whole unit on elasticities. Okay, price elasticity of demand. Okay, you have to understand what's going to happen in the diagram. Well, there are 3 determinants of price elasticity of demand, right? They are the number and closeness of the substitutes. They're the elasticity of a product and how widely defined it is. They're also the time period considered. So those determinants of price elasticity of demand are really important. Okay. Next, cross elasticity of demand. The cross elasticity of demand, that is going to show you the relationship between products, how closely related they are in terms of complements, and how closely related are in terms of substitutes. Remember, complements are things that are purchased together, right? Kindles and ebooks. Substitutes are things that are not purchased together at all. In fact, they would buy one instead of the other. Coca-Cola and Pepsi, right? Those are the best examples of, and don't get confusing or complex with your examples. Coke and Pepsi, great example of cross elasticity of demand and substitutes. Kindles and ebooks, a perfect example of cross elasticity of demand and complements. Okay, and remember, cross elasticity of demand, and you got to know the equations as well, is if you change the price of one product, how much it'll affect the quantity demanded of your particular product. Cool. Okay, next, income elasticity of demand. Income elasticity of demand looks at a percentage change in my income based on the percentage change of something I would purchase. So it'll tell you the relationship between goods. If something's like a normal good, like say bread, no matter how much my income changes, I will probably buy the same amount of bread, because basically you can only eat so much bread, and also it only lasts for so long. As opposed to a luxury good like an airline ticket, which is something that as incomes go up, people tend to buy more of. Okay, a good little tip for you is to think about income elasticity of demand is like, what are the things that you would stop buying if your income went down? Those first things you cut out, like airline tickets, those are the luxury goods, right? The things that hang on, like bread, or like regular things that you would need for daily life, maybe even like a phone, like a cell phone bill. If you're in the modern age, like you kind of need that. That would be something that would be like a normal good. Okay, so that's income elasticity of demand. Now, price elasticity of supply, and the determinants of those are how much it would cost for a firm to switch, right, to another product if it is more hotly demanded. In other words, if it's coming up towards the World Cup in soccer, and you make basketballs, for example, how quickly can you turn your factory into making soccer balls? Because you're going like, oh wait, hold on a second. With the World Cup coming, more people are going to buy what? Soccer balls. Okay, how quickly can you do that? All right. Also, price elasticity of supply always looks at the time period involved as well, and also the ability to store stock. So, those three factors in price elasticity of supply are going to affect how quickly or how effectively a change of price can affect suppliers' ability to supply the product, okay? So those are the four things. You need to know all of that in order to understand and analyze the impact of an event, okay? Lastly, the fifth tip I'm going to give you, and that is this: you are the economist, and in every question, you need to make a judgment. You need to evaluate the impact of whatever event happened after you've done the analysis, the impact on four stakeholders. You can also do it in time frame, advantages and disadvantages, but it's best just to think about the four stakeholders, which are always consumers, producers, the government, and society as a whole, okay? So evaluation, also, look at my hands. It's round, right? Evaluation is round, it's complex, it's multi-dimensional, like a sphere, like a ball, it's round, right? And you're always gonna write in your evaluation, on one hand, they could do this, on the other hand, they could do that, and you're always going to choose this other hand to make your judgment, okay? So a nice little device for you to use when you are doing evaluation is that you must present a multifaceted answer. It can't just be one side. So in your evaluation, offer up one idea, like the government could do this on one hand, or on the other hand, it could do this, but in the end, this is what you say, and always make it the other hand because it's the last thing you talked about, and boom, there it is, okay? So think about evaluation as round, think about the four stakeholders, think about the first paragraph being on one hand, they could do this, on the other hand, they could do that. That's the second paragraph, go more deeply into this information, and then of course at the bottom, at the end, you're gonna write a really solid declarative statement saying what the government should do because you are the economist, you are informed, you have studied, you know how to use the language, you have real life examples, you just analyze this whole thing, and here's what you think as the economist. Boom, and be strong and authoritative with it without any sort of wishy-washiness. Okay, my friends? All right, so those are the 5 study tips for elasticities. I think it'll be super helpful for you to go back through this video to make sure you can do all of that. And again, if there is any sort of lack of understanding that you have, you've got the video links that are down in the description box below, along with the vocabulary. And also, my goodness, there are thousands of students watching this channel every single day. If you have a good example of elasticities, if you have a good example of cross-elasticity demand, of a normal good, of a luxury good, put it in the description, in the comment boxes below, and we could have just this incredible treasure trove of shared information between me and you and all of the other viewers out there, okay? I see this video as a collaboration between me and you, so please, if you're interested, subscribe to this channel, turn on the notifications, and I realize that you might not watch every video as I produce them because they're not relevant to your studies. That's not the point. The point of having the notifications on is so that you know that, oh man, Brad put a video out there about one particular topic, and when you get there or when you go to review, you can go back and check it out. All right, my friends, listen, be good out there. Good luck in your studies. Yeah, if you go through these 5 tips, I promise you, you'll be able to go to bed feeling good about your preparation for your test on elasticities. All right, be good out there. Be kind to yourself too, okay? Take care. I hope you found this video to be helpful, and we'll talk to you in a bit.